Hello everyone, welcome to Learn German Online with Schneider Institute. Today we're going to be talking about Konjunktionen, which is conjunctions. So we're basically going to be talking about conjunctions today. Now the question is, what are conjunctions? Good. Now conjunctions serves as a bridge between two sentences. They link up two sentences together. More like standing in between, like the middleman in a sentence. Now, in this case, there's always two separate sentences, either going to be a dependent clause or an independent clause. So, firstly, we're going to look at the two types of conjunctions we have in German. Now, we have the coordinating conjunctions and we have the subcoordinating conjunctions. We're actually going to be starting with the coordinating conjunctions. All right, let's look at the sentence I have here. Here, okay, I've said this earlier on that the conjunctions, coordinating conjunction joins independent sentences. And here we have, Ich lernte für die Prüfung, aber ging ins Kino. Ich lernte für die Prüfung, aber ging ins Kino. This simply means I learned for the exam, more like I studied, I learned for the exam, but he went to the cinema. He went to the cinema. This is preteritum, and this is also the preteritum form of the verb lernen. Now let's look at this sentence. Ich lernte für die Prüfung. Of course, this sentence, as you can see here, can actually stand on its own in a sentence and also make complete what? Sense. The same applies to the other sentence we have here. Ging ins Kino. He went to the cinema. That's a complete sentence, making complete sense. So for the coordinating conjunctions, it links up what? Independent sentences. Now you have the sentence here. Ich lernte für die Prüfung. And the second one says ging ins Kino. So when you bring these two sentences together to link them up, and I'm using aber in this case, you're already making use of the coordinating conjunction in this case. While we're going to look at other examples with these coordinating conjunctions. All right, so over here we have the list of the coordinating conjunctions. We have und, we have oder, we have den, we have aber, and we have sondern. Und, which means and, oder, or den, which is because, aber, which is but, and then sondern, which is but. Now, the question is, what's the difference between but and but? Now, usually it's a bit confusing in German. Of course, if you look at most of the explanation, it's kind of confusing. But the thing is, sondern is usually used when the independent sentences, in this case, usually belong to the same category, relating to the same thing. Sondern is used in that case as but. I think I have a couple of examples here, which I'm going to use to explain that, although it's still a bit confusing anyways. All right, let's look at the next slide. Here we have sondern, and over here we have aber. Now, in this case, it says, es ist nicht kalt, sondern sehr warm. If you look at this now, you notice that kalt and warm belong to the same category. Has to do with what? The weather. So, es ist nicht kalt, sondern sehr warm, which means it is not cold, but very warm. So you can see the conjunction here. And over here we have, es ist nicht kalt, aber ich ziehe mir eine dicke Jacke an. It is not cold, but I'm putting on a what? A jacket, a thick jacket. Es ist nicht kalt, aber ich ziehe mir eine dicke Jacke an. All right, now let's look at other examples. Here we have und, which means and. Ich bin hier und sie wartet auf mich in der Schule. Ich bin here, I am here. It makes sense, right? Independent sentence. Ich bin here, or independent clause. Ich bin here, I am here. It makes sense. Now the next one says, sie wartet auf mich in der Schule. She's waiting for me in the school. She's waiting for me in the school. So recall I said that these sentences usually they can make complete sense when standing alone in the sentence. And over here we have sie sieht gut aus und sie ist nett. Sie sieht gut aus comes from the separable verb aussehen. As you can see, aussehen conjugated, we have sieht for sie. Sie sieht gut aus, which means she looks what? Good. Und sie ist nett, and she is nice. So I can simply say sie ist nett. Sie sieht gut aus, which means she looks good and she is nice. Here we have Uda. Anna spielt gern Tennis oder Fußball, which simply means Anna likes playing tennis or football. Yeah? So Uda, just basically or. And then here we have, ich will nicht lernen, denn das Wetter ist so schön. Ich will nicht lernen, denn das Wetter ist so schön. Which simply means, I don't want to learn because the weather is so good. I don't understand the relationship between these two sentences though, but let's look away from that. So, ich will nicht lernen. I don't want to learn. Yeah? Das Wetter ist so schön. I'm guessing the relationship should be, since the weather is conducive, I should prefer to sleep instead of learning. Maybe. Okay, so ich will nicht lernen. I don't want to learn. Now, then here means what? Because. Because usually most A1 students prefer to use then instead of weil. We're still going to get to that point. So, ich will nicht lernen, then das Wetter ist so schön. I don't want to learn because the weather is so good or so beautiful. Yeah? All right, so let's go over to the next slide. Here we have the subcoordinating conjunction. The subcoordinating conjunction joins a dependent clause to an independent clause. Yeah? So here we have an example. Beispiel. Ich weiß, dass wir viel zu tun haben. Now let's look at this sentence properly. Ich weiß in this case is the dependent clause, while the sentence we have here is the independent clause, right? Now let's look at this. This sentence originally would be this. Wir haben viel zu tun. But because of the subcoordinating conjunction which you have here, it displaces the verb from the second position to the end of the sentence. As you can see, it displaces the verb from the second position, which is here, to the end of the sentence. So whenever you're using the subcoordinating conjunctions, one thing is certain, the verb has to leave the second position to the end of the sentence. Don't forget, there's always a comma before the subcoordinating conjunction. Now we're going to look at other subcoordinating conjunctions and how they are used in the sentence. Now here I wrote down 10 important subcoordinating conjunctions. That is my definition of important, because there are other ones which might be important as well. But I just wrote out 10 subcoordinating conjunctions. And here we have das, weil, ob, seit, während, obwohl, bis, before, als und damit. And you can see the translation as well. That, because, if, whether, since, while, although, until, before, when, and so that. I'm going to use some of them to make sentences in German so you see how they are used in the sentence. All right. Well, over here we have das. It says, er sagte, dass du sehr fleißig bist. Er sagte, which means he said. Now, if I simply come to you and say he said, obviously, you'll be waiting for something else to come, obviously. So in this case, this here is the dependent what? Clause. And Inan says, dass du sehr fleißig bist. That you are hardworking. He said that you are hardworking. Recall, comma before the subcoordinating conjunction, while the verb is displaced here at the end of the sentence. So you have the verb conjugated to agree with the subject, which is what? Do. Er sagte, dass du sehr fleißig bist. And over here we have the next one that says, ich finde es schlimm, dass ihr nicht zu Hause lest. Ich finde es schlimm, dass ihr nicht zu Hause lest. This simply means, I find it bad that she doesn't read at home. In this case, I find it bad that you indicates, here we have the plural informal you. So, I find it bad that you don't read at home. So imagine a teacher talking to the students. Maybe the students don't read at home. It's referring to everyone in the class. Yeah? So in this case, I'll be saying, ich finde es schlimm, dass ihr nicht zu Hause lest. I find it bad that you don't read at home. So here, let's look at this now. Carefully, the verb is to be conjugated here, but because of this conjunction here, the verb was displaced to the end of the sentence. Note the comma before the conjunction. Now we're going to look at the next one now. Here we have the conjunction weil. And it says, sie kommt nicht, weil ich krank ist. Sie kommt nicht, weil sie krank ist. Which means she is not coming. So if I come and say she is not coming, there's likely going to be something coming after that, yeah? Dependent clause. Sie kommt nicht, weil sie krank ist. She's not coming because she is sick. So the verb here, the verb to be, should be conjugated in the second position here, but because of weil, the verb is displaced to the end of the sentence. Don't forget, it still takes the verb conjugation for sie, which is the subject of the sentence. Down here we have die Kinder essen, weil sie Hunger haben. The children are eating because they are hungry. The children are eating because they are hungry. The verb is conjugated here to agree with the subject, comma. Yeah, so quite easy, yeah? Now let's look at the next one. The next one we have here says before. Before. And it says, bitte hilf mir bevor du gehst. Please help me before you go. Please help me before you go. This is an imperative statement, actually, that has to do with requests. Imperative usually helps you make requests in German. So, bitte hilf mir bevor du gehst. Please help me before you go. The verb is conjugated to agree with do. But if you look closely here, it seems as if the verb is not displaced. Literally speaking, the verb is not actually displaced because we just have the subject and the verb. If we to have the direct object in the sentence or the adverbial phrase of time, then the verb should come way to the very end of the sentence. So it just remains this way, yeah? Okay, and then down here it says, kommen Sie bitte schnell bevor es zu spät ist. Please come fast. Please come fast before it is too late. Kommen Sie bitte schnell bevor es zu spät ist. So in this case, I'm conjugating the verb sein for es, which should be conjugated in the second place, but because of this conjunction here is displaced to the end of the sentence. Now we'll go over to the next one. Here we have our assignments. Our assignment, I think I've made a couple of sentences already. So here we have our assignment. I would like you to use these conjunctions here to make sentences for me. We have damit, we have obwohl, we have bis, we have den. Make sentences, as many sentences as possible. At least I want 4 sentences. You can make more than 4 sentences. Simply write in the comment section, yeah? So write these sentences for me in the comment section. I want to see you apply these conjunctions in the sentence. Alles klar? Okay, so that will be all for now. Don't forget, if you have any question, you can simply write in the comment section. Yeah, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And aside from this, you can follow us on Instagram at Schneider Institute. Don't forget to click the subscribe button below. Please, don't forget to click the subscribe button. All right, so that will be all for today. Vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen.